Welcome back, guys. In the previous lecture we have discussed about the responsive web designs. Now in this video we are going to discuss about the bootstrap grid system. It is one of the procedure to achieve the responsive web design in our applications. So it is one of the important as well as difficult topic in entire bootstrap. So listen, be careful. Before getting started, first we have to know what is a grid. Grid is a combination of rows and columns. So first we will see row. Here you can see row direction is horizontal. This is called single row. Already you might have knowledge about the rows and columns, but we will have some discussion about the rows and columns. Then only you will understand better. So this horizontal div is called as, here we can call it as div or box. This horizontal box is called as row. In this horizontal box, we can divide these box into number of columns. Here you can see I have divided this row into 4 columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. So this entire space is called as grid system. Grid is nothing but combination of rows and columns. So this is the normal grid system. When it comes to the bootstrap grid system, every row is having the 12 columns. Every row is having 12 columns and we can assign any HTML element to the 12 columns. Now let's discuss about the bootstrap grid system practically. Here you can see, consider this horizontal space is called as row. I have divided this row into 12 columns because a bootstrap row is the combination of 12 columns. First column, second column, third column, fourth column, as like there are 12 columns in the bootstrap row. So one row is equal to 12 columns. In bootstrap you have to know this equation. One row is equal to 12 columns and we can assign any HTML element to the any column. So in the first column you can assign h1 or paragraph or image, anything. For the second column also it's same, you can assign div or image or paragraph or h1 text or span element or anchor tag, anything. So like this, for 12 columns you can assign the 12 HTML elements. Those HTML elements will be arranged in the horizontal direction like these only. Here we are taking the example purpose as numbers. So when it comes to the real time situation, we will place the HTML elements in these numbers. So consider these boxes as divs. So in a div we can place any number of child elements. So a bootstrap row is the combination of 12 columns. So in bootstrap there is no condition that we can divide 12 columns into 12 parts only. We can divide 12 columns into any number of parts. Here for example purpose only I have divided 12 columns into 12 parts. For one part I have taken one column. So in another scenarios we will be taking the columns like this. Here you can see in the second scenario I have taken 2 columns for one part. So first column, second column for the first part, second column, third, fourth column for the second part, and 5, 6 for the third part, 7 to 9 for the fourth part, 9 to 10 for the fifth part, 11 to 12 for the 6 parts. We have divided the bootstrap 12 columns into 6 parts in the HTML. So in the first part we can assign any HTML element. In the second part also we can assign any HTML element. Like this we can place 6 horizontal direction HTML elements in this scenario. In the first scenario we can place 12 HTML elements. In the second scenario we can place only 6 HTML elements because we have assigned 2 columns for one part. That means one HTML element. We have assigned 2 bootstrap columns for one HTML element. That HTML element may be anything. That may be div, image, paragraph, h1, anchor tag, anything, ul, li, anything. So now we will discuss the third scenario. In the third scenario, we are allocating 3 parts. That means 3 columns to one HTML element. First 3 columns for first HTML element. Second 3 columns for second HTML element. Third 3 columns. That means column 7 to column 9. We are assigning these 3 columns to the third HTML element. And the last 3 columns, the column numbers are 10, 11, 12. We are assigning the last 3 columns to the fourth HTML element. So in this row we can place only 4 HTML elements. In the first row we can place 12 HTML elements. In the second row we can place only 6 HTML elements because we are taking 2 rows for one HTML element. In the third row, we are taking 3 rows for one HTML element. That's why we can arrange only 4 HTML elements. 3 into 4, 12 columns. We cannot take more than 12 columns in a bootstrap row. This is the rule of bootstrap. We can take only 12 columns. So now we will discuss the fourth scenario. So in the fourth scenario, we are taking 4 columns for one HTML element. So we are assigning 1 to 4 columns for first element, 4 to 8 columns for second element, and 9 to 12 columns for third element. So we can arrange only 3 elements per row in this scenario because we are assigning 4 columns for one HTML element only. So 1 element, 1 element, 1 element, 3 elements, 4 plus 4 plus 4. 12 columns. We are using 12 columns for just placing the 3 elements only. Now we will discuss the fifth scenario. In the fifth scenario, we will placing only 2 HTML elements. We are using the entire row for just arranging the 2 HTML elements. Like this is first div, this is second div. For first div, we are utilizing the 6 columns from the bootstrap row. For the second div, we are utilizing the another 6 columns from the bootstrap row. Here we have used only 2 divs for 12 columns. And we are discussing the last scenario now. In the last scenario, we are placing only one HTML element. That means we are taking complete width for only one HTML element only. So like this way, we can divide the bootstrap row into any number of columns to arrange the HTML elements. I know by learning this, we cannot understand the bootstrap grid system. That's why we will be learning all these things practically. So we are writing the program for dividing the 12 columns, 6 columns, 4 columns, 3 columns, 2 columns, 1 column. We are doing all these things practically. Don't worry if you understand now only. We'll be discussing thoroughly about this topic. So in the next video, we are going to implement these things practically. So first I will create a new folder in the desktop. Right click on the desktop, click on new. Here I will write the folder name as grid system. Press enter. Now we have to access this grid system folder in the VS Code. Open VS Code. Here we go. I have opened the grid system folder in the VS Code. Now we have to create our first file, which is called as index.html. So in this file only we are going to use the bootstrap grid system. So before we are using the bootstrap grid system in this index.html, we have to use bootstrap link. So you can use the bootstrap.css direct file or you can use the CDN link. I will use the CDN link. You can select any one option. Head, HTML head. In this head, first I will write the title. The title is grid system. Control S. So first I will write the body. In this body, I will write one h1 tag with our class title. h1 bootstrap grid system. Control S. Now let's execute this program first. Desktop folder name is grid system and file name is index.html. You can see we got the output bootstrap grid system. Now we have to copy the bootstrap CDN link from the official website. Open bootstrap official website. Here we need to click on the get started and we need to copy this link. So in the head we have to write that link. Control S. So this is the normal way of using bootstrap in our system, not system, web application. You can use the bootstrap in our web application using the one more way, which is called as downloading the bootstrap.css file, and we have to paste that file in this grid system folder and we have to link that file in the index.html. So that is somewhat lengthy process. That's why we need to use the CDN link. You can see this is the official bootstrap website. If you scroll down here you can see the heading starter template. From the starter template we have to copy one line which is called as meta tag used for viewport. To get the responsiveness in our website we have to use this line in our head part. So copy this line. So this is the name is equal meta tag, name is equal to viewport, content is equal to width is equal to device width, initial scale. You have to copy this line and paste it in the head part. Before linking the bootstrap only we have to paste that line. So after the title we have to paste the meta tag. This line is called as meta tag. So without writing this line we cannot implement the bootstrap grid system in our applications. This line is mandatory. Control S. So now we will add the bootstrap row in our application. So first I will write one div. So here I will consider this div as row and I will divide this division into 12 columns because we are going to discuss about the first scenario. In the first scenario we have to divide the div into 12 columns. In the second scenario we have to divide the div into 6 columns. In the third scenario 4 columns. In the fourth scenario 3 columns. In the fifth scenario 2 columns. In the last scenario we have to take only complete width for the only one HTML element only. So first I will declare this div as row. So as like our previous lectures, in bootstrap everything are classes only. So for this grid system also we have to use the classes. So here I will write class is equal to row. So this entire div is one row. Now we have to divide this div into 12 columns. Initially a row is 12 columns. Now we have to assign one HTML element for one column. So I will write div first we have to write class. So in this class we have to write call -1 control S. So this is the row and this is the first part. For first part we have taken only one column. Call -1 indicates we are taking one column for this div. So to check whether it is taken successfully or not we have to add some text in the column. So I will add div1 or we can write call1. I will write only call1 control S. So for the row I will add the background color and for the call1 also I will add the background color. To add the background color we have to add the style in this page. So at the head part I will add the style. So first I will click on the view, toggle word wrap, control S. Now we have to add the styling here. Style. First I will add the style for row. Row is a class, that's why we have to write dot row. So for the row I will add the background color as aqua. So for the row the background color is aqua. Let's check the output. Here you can see a row is created and we have created only one column in that row. You can see this is the call1. So for this column also I will add the background color, then you will understand better. So for call1 dot call -1. So for the first column I am going to add the background color as red, control S. Let's check this. Out of these 12 columns we have assigned only one column to the first div. In that first div we have only one text which is called as call1. So this red space is only one column. We have taken one column for one div. Now like this we are going to declare 12 divs with the 12 columns. Copy. First we will take 5 divs, then we will take the remaining. So here I am changing the class names. So call2, here also call2, sorry here the call3 because this is the third column and this is the fourth column, this is the fifth column. Control S. You can see for one column, for one div we have taken one column. This is the first div. We have taken only one column from the row. This is the second div. So we have taken another one column. This is the third div. We have taken another one column. So for the 5 divisions we have taken 5 columns for the row. Now let's check the output. Here you can see we got 5 columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, and there are 7 columns empty now because we have not assigned any HTML elements to this column. Up to now we have used only 5 columns from the entire row. Here these aqua color indicates row, red color indicates column. We have taken almost 5 columns from the row and 7 columns are remaining. That's why we have to take the remaining 7 columns also. So I'll copy the remaining 7. Div. That's it. So up to 5 we have completed. Now 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and at the last 12. Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see we got complete 12 columns in the one row. Column 1, column 2, column 3, like this 12 columns. So the row is divided into 12 columns. So in every column we have placed one div. This is the first scenario. We have taken one column for one div. Now we will discuss the second scenario. In the second scenario we will be taking 2 columns for one div. That means we will divide the row into 6 parts. For every part we will be taking 2 columns. So from here we have to take, this is the first row. You can see now we are ending the first row. After ending the first row I will use one HR tag. HR, let's see this. Here you can see we got one HR tag. This is the HR tag. Now after the HR tag I want to create the second row. Div. First we have to write class and we have to tell the compiler that this is a row. Sorry. I'll close all this. Div, and here I will write class and I will write row. Let's check this. Sorry, there is something wrong. So now we have to add the 2 columns for one div. So in the first scenario we have taken 1 column for one div. In the second scenario we will be using 2 columns for one div. So now I will create the child elements, means columns. Row is the parent, column is the child. Div. So this is the first child. For the first child I am going to allocate 2 columns from the row. That's why we have to write call 2. Here I will write first div, Control S, or we can write call 1 comma call 2. Call 1 to 2. That means column 1, column 2 are allocated to these div. So for the second scenario also we will add some background color to the columns. So that's why we need to write call 2. Background color we will write blue. Let's execute this. Here you can see in the second scenario we have taken 2 columns for one div. That's why we have there is blue background color for 2 columns. Here you can see if this space was taken in the first scenario there are 2 columns, but when it comes to the second scenario we have taken only one div for 2 columns. That's why we have only blue background color for 2 columns. Now we will be taking another 2 columns for the second div. So I will create div class call 2 and I will write call 3 to 4. Column 3, column 4 are assigning to second div. Here you can see for the second div we are assigning the column 3 and column 4, and like this we will add all these things. So for the third div I will assign call 5 and call 6. Here for the fourth div I am assigning call 7 and call 8. For the fifth div call 9 and call 10. Call means column. And for the last div we are using the last two columns, that means call 11 and call 12. Let's check this. Here you can see we have divided the second row into 6 parts. Column 1 2 for the first div, column 3 4 for the second div, column 5 6 for the third div, column 7 8 for the fourth div, columns 9 and 10 for the fifth div, columns 12 and 11 for the sixth div. So this is the second scenario. We are using 2 columns for one division, that means one HTML element. Now let's discuss the third scenario. Third scenario is also same, but we need to divide the row into 4 parts. That means for one division we have to take 3 columns. So once again I will add one HR tag. So now I will take the third row, class row. So first we need to take div, and for this div we have to write the class as call 3. That means we are taking 3 columns for one division, that means one HTML element. I will write call 1 2 3 for the first 3 columns, first div, and like this we have to take 4 parts, that means 4 divisions. First division, second division, third division and fourth division. So for the second division we have to take the columns from 4 to 6. For the third division we have to take the columns from 7 to 9. And for the last division we have to take the columns from 10 to 12. So for these call 3 also I will add one background color. For call 1, that means for the first scenario the columns color is red. For the second scenario the columns color is blue. Now I will be adding the third scenario, call 3. For this scenario I will add the background color as green. Control S. Let's check the output. Here you can see now the row is divided into 4 parts. For the first part we have taken 4 columns. For the second part not 4 columns, 3 columns. For the second part we have taken the 3 columns, column 4, column 5, column 6. For the third part, that means third division, we have taken 3 columns, 7 8 9. For the last div we have taken another 3 columns, call 10 8, call 10 11 12. Now we will move into the fourth scenario. In the fourth scenario we have to divide the row into just 3 parts. That means we have to divide 4 columns for one division. I will add div. For this div I will add class row, and now I will add the child elements. Div I will write, first I will add the class to this child div, class call 4. So for the first division we are assigning the call 1 to 4. 1 to 4 columns are for the first div, and for the second div we are assigning the 5 to 8. 5 to 8. And for the last div we are assigning the columns from 9 to 12. This is call 4. So for the call 4 we will add the background color as, almost we have completed the bright background colors. Call 4 I will add the brown background color. So now I will hit the refresh button. After hitting the refresh button we will be able to see the row is divided into 3 parts. Here you can see the row is divided into 3 parts. Here there is no gap between these row and these row because I forgot to add the HR tag. So I will add the HR tag, HR, before the third scenario and fourth scenario. Here you can see, now you can be able to observe the differences. This is the first part, we are taking 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. This is the second part, we are taking 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. And this is the third part, we are taking the 9, 10, 11, 12 columns. Now we will discuss the last but not least, which is called as, sorry, this is not last. We have another 2 scenarios. So we are going to discuss about the fifth scenario. I will place HR. In the fifth scenario, we are just dividing the row into just 2 parts. Class, row. Now I will add the child elements. Here in this row, we have only 2 child elements because we are adding 6 columns for 1 div. Class, call 6. So here I will write, we are taking these 6 columns, 1 to 6 columns. Call 1 to 6. Control S. Div, here class call 6, call 6 to, not 6, 7 to 12. So for the call 6 also we will add one background color, dot call 6. Here I will add background color. Which background color should I add? Yellow or yellow green. Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see, now the row is divided into just 2 parts. For 1 to 6 columns, first division, 7 to 12 columns, second division. So we have divided the row into just 2 columns. Now we are left with only one scenario, which is called as last scenario. In the last scenario, we are not dividing the row. We are utilizing all the 12 columns for placing only one HTML element. So now I am placing one HR tag, HR, and here I will write class row, and we are taking 12 columns for only one division. Div class call 12. So the row will not be divided. You can able to see only one background color with one text. So here I will write call 1 to 12. From first column to 12 columns, we are assigning only one div. So now let's execute this. Here you can see we got the div. There is no child elements in this div. Here the row is divided into just 12 columns. The row is not divided. It's taking complete 12 columns for only one HTML element. So this is the brief introduction, practical introduction of the Bootstrap grid system. So if you want to see where the columns are located, you need to add the border color to the columns so you can understand better. So now I will add the black color border for all the columns. So here I will add border as 1px solid black. Control S. I will copy this line for all the columns so you can find the difference between rows and columns. Control S. Here you can see we got all the columns. This is the column 1, column 2, all these borders. We got the rectangular box for all the columns. So we have divided the first row into 12 columns in the first scenario. We have divided the row into 6 columns, not 6 columns, 6 parts. That means we have taken 2 columns for 1 part. In the third scenario, we have taken 3 columns for 1 part. That's why the row is divided into 4 parts. And in the fourth scenario, we have divided the row into 4 parts. That means we have taken 4 columns for the one division. That means 1 part. And in the fifth scenario, we have taken 6 columns for the 1 part. And in the last scenario, we have not divided that row. We have taken complete 12 columns for only one division. That's why the row is not divided here. In the next video, we are going to discuss about how these columns and rows will be used in the responsiveness. So as of now, we have not discussed any responsiveness topic. We have discussed only grid system. If you minimize this website is not responsive because you cannot see all these things clear. You can see all these are stretched. So in the next video, we are going to see how can we design these type of HTML elements for the mobile view. So this is up to only desktop view. In the desktop view, it's looking good. But when it comes to the mobile view, you cannot find all the things. So here I will click on the Bootstrap, open folder. We need to select the grid system folder in the desktop. Select folder. Here you can see we have only one file. This file we have created in the last lecture. Now I am going to create the new file in the grid system. I will write the file name as responsive.html. So let's complete the HTML formalities. HTML head. In this head I will write the title. Title is responsive. Control S, and from index.html we have to copy two lines, this meta tag line and the Bootstrap CDN link. So copy, paste it in the responsive.html head part. Here you can see we have copied the two lines. Now I will create body, and in this body I will write one h1 tag. Here I will write the text as responsive grid system. In the previous lecture we have discussed about only grid system. Now we will discuss responsive grid system. Control S. Let's execute this program. Desktop grid system, file name is responsive.html. Here we go, we got the output responsive grid system. Now I will take a div and I will assign the class row for that div. Div class equal to row. So I want to divide these row into two parts. The first part is class call 6, and the second part is also call 6. Sorry, we have to write div class call 6. So in the first part I will write one h1 text. This is first part. In the bracket I will write 1 to 6 columns. In the second h1 second div also I will write this is second part. Here I will write 7 to 12 columns. Column 7 to column 12. Let's execute this. Here you can see we got the output. This is the first div and this is the second div. For the first div we have allocated the first 6 columns, and for the second div we have allocated the second 6 columns. That means 7th column to 12th column. Now I will add some background color to understand better. So I will write style in the head part. So if you want to add background color, you can add it directly here or you can add here. So we will add the inline styling for this div. So I will add the style attribute here. Style background color as, for the first 6 columns I will add blue background color, and for the second 6 columns I will add the background color as red. Control S. Here you can see for the first 6 column we have added the background color blue. For the second 6 columns we have added the background color red. That means we have divided a single row into 2 parts. For the first row we have allocated 6 columns. For the second row we have allocated the 6 columns. Now I want to get these 6 columns in a complete row in mobile device. So I want this same output in the computer screen only. Here I do not want any change, but I want only first 6 columns in the row in a mobile device. So suppose if I go to the mobile device, here you can see I can see both the first 6 columns and second 6 columns in a single row in a mobile device. I do not want this. I want first 6 columns in a complete row and the second 6 columns in a complete row, because whenever you want to add the any product in these first 6 columns, we can add that in the computer screen and it looks good. But when it comes to the mobile device, we cannot see 2 products side by side in a single row. So of course we can see, but it doesn't look good. That's why we have to divide these first 6 columns into first row and second 6 columns into second row. How can we do that? So here comes the breakpoint, bootstrap breakpoint. So to get the responsiveness in the bootstrap grid system, we have to use the one more topic which is called as breakpoint. To use the breakpoint, we have to know the width of the screens. So afterwards we will discuss all those things. First we need to get this website as responsive. So to make this website responsive, we need to add only one line in our program, that is MD. MD means medium. So in between these call and 6, we need to add one line which is called as hyphen MD. Call MD 6. That means for the medium devices, we are assigning the 6 columns for a row. For the normal devices, that means normal devices means computer screens. Here call MD means medium devices. Medium devices are mobile phones. So for the second device also, second div also, I will use call MD. So whenever the compiler finds the mobile device, it will allocate 6 columns for the row. If the compiler finds computer, then it will allocate the 12 columns for the row. So now let's execute this. So here you can see this is the computer screen. That's why the computer allocated 12 columns for the row. That's why first 6 columns for the first part, second 6 columns for the second part. You can able to see 2 parts in a single row. But when it comes to the mobile device, means MD, the compiler will split the row into 2 parts, because in the MD device, a row contains only 6 columns. So now I will go to the mobile view. Here you can see we got the row into just 6 columns only, because we have set the compiler that I want only 6 columns for the mobile device. That means in the mobile device I want to use 6 columns per row. By default in the computer screen, row is equal to 12 columns. But by default in the mobile device, there is no such condition. We have to make the condition. So we made the condition that for the mobile device, I want to use 6 columns per row. That's why we have allocated call MD 6. So after completing the 6 columns, the row will be split to the next line. That's why the second division came to the next line. Suppose if you want to give 4 columns also, you can give. So now I will give the 4 columns. I will create one more row. So here I will create row. This is the row. So I will divide these row into 3 parts in the computer view. That means desktop view. So I will write div. In this div I will write call MD 3. So here MD doesn't matter in computer screen or desktop view. MD will only matter in the desktop, not desktop, mobile view. Sorry, I'm confusing. So here I will write class call MD 4. That means we are dividing the row into 3 parts. For the first 4 columns, I will write this is first part, H1. This is first part. And here I will write class call MD. That means for the medium devices, we are telling the compiler that 4 columns is equal to 1 row. H1. This is second part. Div class call MD 4. H1. This is third part. Let's execute this. So before executing this, we have to add the background color to the columns. So for the first 4 columns, I will add the background color as. So first we have to add the style attribute, style, background color, I will add brown. For the first part, that means first 4 columns, we are adding the background color as brown. For the second 4 columns, background color blue. For the last 4 columns, background color, I will add crimson. Control S. So between the first row and second row, I will add one HR tag. Then you can able to observe the differences between first row and second row. Here you can see in the first row we have divided the row into 2 parts in the computer screen. In the second row we have divided the row into 3 parts in the desktop screen or computer screen. We can call it both. But when it comes to the mobile view, we are telling the compiler that in the first row 6 columns is equal to 1 row. In the second row 4 columns is equal to 1 row. That means we will see every part in this row in a new line in the mobile view. So I will go to the mobile view now. Here you can see we got every part in the new row or new line, because we are telling the compiler that first 6 columns will be first row, second 6 columns will be second row. Here you can see call MD6, call MD6. MD means mobile device, or we can call it as medium. Actually MD means medium, but for the understanding purpose we have to see MD means mobile. And in the second row we have divided the row into 3 parts in the computer screen, but we are not dividing the row in the mobile view. We are just saying the compiler that 1 row is equal to 4 columns in the medium devices. Medium devices means mobile devices. That's why here we need not to split anything. The compiler will automatically split the row into the next row whenever it finds the medium device, means mobile device. Here you can see whenever I increase the width of the screen, it will be converted into computer screen. Here you can see this is the computer screen. That's why the row is having 2 parts in the first row, 3 parts in the second row. When I minimize this, it will be converted to the mobile screen. In the mobile screen, the row is equal to only 6 parts in 6 columns in the first row. Row is equal to 4 columns in the second row. So whenever it finds the mobile screen, every part will be added as a new row. Here you can see this is the medium screen. That's why a row is columns taken completely for a single row. So this is the way to achieve bootstrap responsiveness in our application. We have to add only one line. This is called as call MD, means columns for the medium devices. So we are telling the compiler that in a row, that means in a medium device, we are assigning 4 columns per row. We should not assign any columns to the computer devices, because in a computer device the compiler will automatically understand that 1 row is equal to 12 columns, but the compiler will not understand how many rows for medium devices. That's why we have to say the compiler that there are 4 columns for 1 row in a medium device. This is the second row. And in the first row we are telling the compiler that 6 columns per 1 row. So whenever it complete the 6 columns, these div will be placed to the next row, because we cannot place more than 6 columns in a 1 row. So whenever the column is increased, means whenever it finds the more than 6 columns, the 7th column will be started from the next row. This is called as responsiveness. So while doing the real-time projects, you will understand better. As of now, you have to practice these things for the 6 scenarios. I have explained only 2 scenarios. Here the first scenario is dividing the row into 2 parts. Here the second scenario is dividing the row into 3 parts. So you have to practice the remaining 4 parts. That means dividing the row into 4 parts, 2 parts, 3 parts, etc. So first we have to create a new file in the Bootstrap folder. So if you want to create a new folder, you can create in the desktop. Already we have a folder with the name Bootstrap. In this folder only we are going to create the table.html file. So first I will access this folder in the VS Code. So here I will click on the file, open folder, and in the open folder we have to select the Bootstrap. Click on the select folder. So this is the Bootstrap folder. Now I am going to create a new file in this folder with the name tables.html. Tables.html. So first let's write the HTML snippet. HTML head title. The title is tables, and in the body section I will write one h1 tag, bootstrap tables, control S. Let's execute this program. So here I will write local disk C desktop. In the desktop folder name is bootstrap and the file name is tables.html. So this is our lecture title, and we have written this title in the h1 text. Now we have to visit the official website of the bootstrap to check what are the classes available for the tables. So let's open bootstrap. Click on the first link. Click on the get started button. So in the search bar we have to type tables. Here you can see we have to select this first option, tables/tables. So this is window about the bootstrap tables. So here we can able to see all the output details and the code. So to get these output we have to use these class names. Here you can see for the table we have to write the class as table, and for the remaining we have to write as it is. So when you write the class as table for the table, here tag name is also table, class name is also table. So this is somewhat similar. Don't confuse here. Both tag name and class name is table. So when you use the class name table, you will get the output like this. You will get these borders, column borders and the row borders. So suppose if you want to get these output, we have to use table dark. Here you can see table dark. So in this website you can see all the outputs. So for every output you will get the code. Not code, you have to see just classes, because if you copy entire code you will not get any knowledge. You have to copy the class name, that's it. You should know which class name is for which output. For this output we have to use head dark. So for the table head only the color is dark. For remaining columns and rows there is normal color. So I will explain all these things, don't get confused. First we have to create a normal table in the HTML. So after the h1 tag I will create one normal table. So before creating the table we have to add the bootstrap in this tables.html. You can use this bootstrap.css or you can use the link, CDN link of the bootstrap. So already we have the CDN link in the second way.html. You have to copy this link and paste it here. Right click on it, copy and paste. Suppose if you want to use bootstrap grid system in this tables.html, you have to copy one more line from the bootstrap which is called as meta tag. So first we have to visit the bootstrap official website, click on this home. So here you have to click the get started, and in the starter template you can able to see this meta name. Here you can see this tag you have to copy this line, and you have to paste it before the bootstrap linking. So after writing the meta tag only we have to link the bootstrap in our application. Control S. So we have successfully written the meta tag as well as the bootstrap CDN link. Now we need to create the rows and columns in this page. So first I will create one row, div. I will write the class name as row. So I will take only 6 columns for the table. That means first half. So every row is 12 columns in the bootstrap row. That's why we have to take only 6 columns. Of course you can take 12 columns, but if you take 12 columns your table will be like entire screen. So I do not want that. I want only table will be the half of the page only. So I will create the column as call md6 class. I will write call md6, control S. So for the first 6 columns only I am using the table. So in these 6 columns we have to create the table. I will write table tag. So in the table tag first we have to write the head, because table is the combination of head and body. Again in the body we have to write the rows. So first we have to write t head. In this t head we have to write one row because we have to add the column. So I will add tr. So the first column name is, I will write, so which table we should use? So we will use the students table. I will write roll number. First column name is roll number, and second column name is student name, and third column name is marks. That's it. So in every row we will be using 3 columns. That's why we have written all these 3 columns in a single row. Now we have to create the table body, t body. So in this table body we have to add the rows depending upon these columns. So I will add the first row tr. So in this tr I will add the first student details. So the first student roll number is 1, and the second student first student name is John, and first student marks is, I will write 95. Control S. So now we have to add some more rows. Copy this row and paste it again. So we will add 4 rows, third row and fourth row. So we will change the values in these rows. Second student roll number is 2, second student name is Michael, and second student marks is equal to 90. So the third row indicates third student roll number is 3, third student name is Messi, and third student marks is 99. And I will add the fourth student here, TD4, and TD, and the fourth student name is Ronaldo, and fourth student marks are 92. Control S. Let's check the output. Here you can see we got the details: rule number, student name, marks. So this is without styling. There is no styling in this page. We have created the table. We have created the table header. You can see rule number, student name, marks. So we have 4 values in the table. The first one is John, second one is Michael, third is Messi, and fourth is Ronaldo. John is having the 95 marks, Michael is having 90 marks, Messi is having 99 marks, Ronaldo is having 92 marks. And we have added these table in only first 6 columns. So if you zoom also, it will not increase it will not go to the second 6 columns. That means this table will not be added to the 7th column. It will be allocated in only first 6 columns because we have added here. Here you can see we have created the table in the col MD6. That means a row is divided into 12 parts. We have taken only 6 parts from that row. Now we will add the bootstrap styling for this row. So we are going to add the first table. So click on the, before clicking we have to write here tables, select tables. So to get this type of table we need to add table. For the table class we have to write only table only. So it is little bit confusing, don't confuse here. We just need to add the class for the table and we need to add the class name as table only. So let's add this. Here you can see this is the table. For this table we have to write class and we have to just write table. That's it. So automatically predefined styling, bootstrap styling will be applied to this table. Let's execute this. Here you can see we got the styling automatically by adding only one line. We got the beautiful table for our students data. Roll number, student name, marks. 1 John 95, 2 Michael 90, 3 Messi 99. So we have just created this line by using only one line, that is adding the class table. So if you remove this you will get the normal HTML table. So here I have removed this. Now I execute this. Here you can see there is no styling. So by adding only one line only we will be getting the beautiful style for our project. So here we need to write class table. Here you can see this is the bootstrap table. This is the header. So now we will see the second design. In the second design we have to use the table dark. Here you can see class is equal to table and table dark. We need to add one more word to the class. So we just need to add table dark. So we will get the black color background for the table. So when you get the black color background, automatically the color will also be changed to white. So here we need to write table dark, control S. So here I am adding classes to only parent table. I am not changing any table head, table body, table data, table row, anything. We are adding the bootstrap classes to only table head. That means table parent only. Now let's execute this. Here you can see we got the beautiful black color background and the text color is white. So now we will add the third table. So for the third table, we have to add the class for table head, because for the body we are using the white color background. So we need to add the differentiation between the table head and table body. So if you want a black color background for table head, we have to use T head dark. If you want to add a white color background for the table head, we need to write T head light. So already we have seen this table. Now I will remove this table dark. Let's execute this. Here you can see this is the normal bootstrap table. Now I want the table head as black color. So we just need to write class for the T head. We have to write T head dark. That's it. Control S. Sorry, here the spelling is wrong. That's it. Control S. Now let's execute the program. After hitting the refresh button, you can able to see the black color header and the white color body. Sorry, there is something mistake in our code. Let's see the class name. T head dark. Correct only? No. T head dark. T head dark. What's the error? So here we are getting this error because in the table header row also we have used the TD tags, that means table data tags. But to get the table header black color, we have to use TH, that means table header. So instead of TD we have to use TH in the table header part. Then only you can able to get the styling like this. Sorry, I closed this Bootstrap website. So get started. Tables. Here you can see if you want to get the output like this, we have to use TH instead of TD in the column. So in the head part, you should not change in the body part. You have to change it only head part, because we are going to add the black color background color to the T head. So here I will change TH. Here also I will change TH. So for the three parts we have to change. TH, TH, here also TH, Control S. Let's execute this. Here you can see now we got the black color background color to the table. Suppose if you want white color background color, we just need to write T head light. Instead of T head dark, we have to write T head light. Control S. Here you can see we got the white color background color. So we got predefined styling. So now let's discuss the one more table. So this table is called as stripped rows. So to get this table, we need to add only these lines. So we just need to copy this table stripped and we need to place it in the parent class. So for this table is the parent. Here we need to add table stripped. Control S. Let's execute this. Here you can see we got the stripped rows for the table. Now let's discuss the one more table. So this is the most useful table in the entire Bootstrap tables. This table is called as border table. We will get the borders for rows and columns. So I will suggest you to use this table for your real-time projects. So you have to copy this table bordered and you have to paste it here. Table bordered. Here you can see we got the table like this. We have one head with the white background color and we have the rows and columns with the borders. This is one of the best table in the Bootstrap. So already I said I suggest you to use this table in your real-time projects. So this is the way to use bootstrap tables in our projects by applying the predefined styling. Suppose if you want to use this table in the complete width, suppose if you want to print this table with the complete width, we just need to change only one line. Instead of col md6, we have to write the col md12. So the table will be printed in entire screen. It will take complete width, means col md12 means complete row. So now I will execute this. Here you can see we got complete row. If you want to give only 8 columns for the table, we need to give 8. Here you can see up to here 8 columns. So while explaining, I have given only 6 columns. So as per your requirements, you should give the number of columns for the table. Bootstrap forms. We are going to see how to apply the predefined styling to the HTML form elements using the Bootstrap forms. So first I will create a new file in the Bootstrap folder. Here I will write forms.html. So first I will complete the HTML code. HTML head title is forms, and we need to add 2 lines from this tables.html. First one is for responsive, second one is for normal Bootstrap CDN link. Sorry. Copy, and we have to paste it in the forms.html head part. Control S. Now I will create the form body. In this body, first I will write one h1 tag with the title Bootstrap forms. Control S. So now I will add one div. I will create one row, class row, and I will assign 6 columns for the form. You can assign any number of columns. So I want to allocate only 6 columns. Div class col md6. So I want to assign only 6 columns. In these 6 columns only I want to create the form. So you can remove this action attribute. So I want to create a simple login form. So first I will create the input field with type text and placeholder. Placeholder means whatever the text which is visible in the input field, that is called as placeholder. It is one of the input attribute. I will write username. Placeholder is equal to username. Input type is equal to text. Placeholder is equal to password, and at the last I will write button login. Control S. Let's execute this program. So this is the previous lecture output. At the last, instead of tables.html, we need to write forms.html. Here you can see this is the normal HTML form. If you use the br tag one after another, this input field will be came here and this button will come here. Now we need to apply the Bootstrap classes for this input field, and we have to make these output as Bootstrap form. So in the search box we have to type forms. Here you can see this is the Bootstrap forms. In the form is a combination of many elements, that may be input field, checkbox, radio button, selection list, anything. So for the best example, we are going to learn about the input fields. How can we add the predefined Bootstrap styling to the input fields? Because in the majority scenarios, we will be using these input fields only for taking the input from the user. So here also we are learning the input fields. So for the input fields, we have to add only one line for the class name, which is called as form control. When you use the form control class, automatically predefined Bootstrap styling will be applied to the input fields. So now I will write the class name as form control. Form hyphen control. That's it. For the second input field also, I will write form control. That's it. Let's execute the program. Here you can see we got the beautiful input fields from the Bootstrap. Suppose if you want to add the margin, we need to override these classes. That means we have to right here. So style for dot form control, already we have discussed how to override the bootstrap classes. From dot form control classes, I am applying the margin as 10px, control S. Here you can see we got the margin for the form elements, that means input elements. So before adding the form control, the bootstrap normal HTML inputs were very normal styling, but whenever you apply the bootstrap class as form control to the input fields, that input elements will be changed like this. If you want to observe the normal input field and bootstrap input field differences, we need to add one more line here, so then you can understand the difference between normal input field and bootstrap input field. So I will create the placeholder as captcha, control S. This is first two are the bootstrap input fields, third one is normal input field. So you can able to understand the difference. You can see how the input fields are varies. This is the bootstrap input field. If you click on this, you can able to see the beautiful border color also. If you click on these also, you can able to see the border. So but if you click on this, there is nothing. This is a normal HTML input field and this is the bootstrap predefined input field. So in normal and majority scenarios, we will use these input fields only. Now I will remove this captcha input field from the page. Control S. Here you can see the captcha input field was removed. Now we need to add the bootstrap class for the button. Already we have discussed the bootstrap button. You can add the button primary, button success, anything for login. So I will add the class as btn primary, control S. Here you can see we got the beautiful background color for the button. Suppose if you want to add the margin for the button, we need to override this button class also. To override the button class, we need to override btn primary. So in the style, I will write dot btn primary, M10, margin 10. Here you can see this is complete login form, username, password, login. See how simple it is with the help of bootstrap. If you want to get this output in the CSS, at least you need to write 20 lines. So we need to change the height of the input field, width of the input field, we need to add the border radius, and for this button we need to change the text color, adding the background color, all those dump. With the help of bootstrap, we have achieved this thing by writing only 2 lines, form control and the btn primary. So this is the advantage of bootstrap in our applications. So if you want to see the remaining input elements bootstrap classes, you need to visit the bootstrap website. So already we have discussed the form controls, that means input fields. So for this type of input fields, we need to add the class as form control. For radio buttons, we will be having the separate class. For checkboxes, we will be having the separate class. So as per your requirements, we need to visit the bootstrap official website and we need to check the available classes for our input fields, or not only input fields, for any HTML elements. So in majority scenarios, form control class will be applied to all the form tag elements. That's why it is the one of the most used bootstrap class in the entire bootstrap. Suppose if you want to create any selection list also, you can apply these this input field. So I will create one selection list, select. So here we need to select admin or user. So I will give 2 options. Option 1 admin and option 2 is user. Control S. Now let's execute this. Here you can see we got these buttons and selection list, but there is some mistake in our code. Yeah, now it's looking fine. It is the zoom issue. So this is the normal selection list. Before adding the bootstrap class, the selection list looks like this. Now I will add the form control class for this selection list. So as I said, form control class will be applicable to all the form tag elements. Selection list is also one of the form tag element. So I will add the class as form control. Control. Control S. Let's execute this. Here you can see there is no change in the output. There is something mistake in our code. Sorry, here I have written from instead of we need to write from. Control S. Now I will hit the refresh button. Here you can see this is the Bootstrap selection list. Before hitting the refresh button, the selection list looks very ugly. Not ugly, it's without styling. But if you add only one line to that selection list, the output will change like this. So here you can see this is superb output. So we can see all these things. Admin user. So when you click on this, a border color will be applied to the input field. So now we will change the columns. So initially we have allocated only 6 columns for the form. Suppose if you want to allocate 4 columns, the form width will be decreased. Here you can see the width of the form is decreased. If you want to allocate 12 columns, the form width will be entire screen. It will take complete width. Here you can see it's very ugly. So that's why we need to give only 6 or 4 columns for the form. Control S. Here you can see this is the good output. So in the next video we are going to discuss about Bootstrap alignments. Already we have discussed the CSS alignments. Now in the next video we are going to discuss Bootstrap alignments. That means a row is divided into 12 columns. We have used only 4 columns from that row. So how can we place these 4 columns at the center of the page? That means I want to place this form at the center of the page. So this comes under the Bootstrap alignments topic. In the next video, we will be discussing about them. Bootstrap alignments. So in the last minute of the previous lecture only, I have given some of the definitions about the alignments. We need to place these div at the center of the page. How can we do that? That means we are aligning these div. That means these 4 columns at the center of the page. So if you see the code here, we have created one row and we have allocated only 4 columns. That means we have utilized only 4 columns from that row. So now I want to put these 4 columns at the center of the page. So here the 8 columns are empty. We are not using that 8 columns. So when you are not using any 8 columns, we have to add only one class for this row. So then all the child elements in that row will be placed center of the page. That class is called as justify content center. So we need to add justify hyphen content hyphen center. That's it. If you add these justify content center to any row, all the columns will be moved to the center of the page. This is the rule of justifies content center class in Bootstrap. This class comes under the alignments topic. Now I will execute the program. After hitting the refresh button, you can able to see this form at the center of the page. I will hit the refresh button now. Here you can see we got the form at the center of the page because we are assigned the not only form, whatever the elements that are present in these 4 columns, that elements will be arranged at the center of the page. So if it may be 6 columns also, that will be arranged in the center of the page. Here the number is not mattered. Here the mattered element is only child element. Whatever the child elements are present in this row, all the child elements will be placed at the center of the page. This is the rule of justify content center. Now I will execute this. Here you can see the form width is increased, but the form is positioned at the center of the page only. Suppose if you want to bring these text to the center of the page, we need to place these text in the row. So here the text is outside the row. If you want to place any outside text row to the center, we need to add a class as text center. It's one of the simple class in Bootstrap. It is also used for aligning the element to the center of the page. But here row column doesn't matter. It will place any element that may be inside row, outside row. It will be placed to the center of the page. So now I will hit the refresh button. Here you can see Bootstrap forms. These text came to the center of the page. Suppose if this h1 text is at the call md6, we need not to write the text center because already we have given the justify content center. That means whatever the child elements present in this call md6, that will be placed at the center of the page. Now I will add one text. So in this form I will create one h1 and I will add students table. Students table. So automatically these h1 text will be placed at the center of the page, because we have aligned everything which are present in this page to the center of the page by using the classes justify content center. Now I will hit the refresh button. Here you can see we got the student table at the center of the page. That means here the columns call md6 class starts from here. So the students table is also starts from here. So if you want to place the student table at the center of the form, again we need to add the text center. So here class text center. That's it. Now I will hit the refresh button. Here you can see the student table text came to the center of the page. So initially it starts from where the form starts. When you use the text center, it doesn't matter whether it is inside the form or outside the form, inside the row, inside the column, outside the row, outside the column. It doesn't matter. Whenever you use any text center class to any HTML element, that element will be placed to the center of the page. So these are the two alignment classes present in the Bootstrap, which are used to allocate the space, which are used to allocate the rows to the columns and the place that columns at the center of the page. We will discuss one more example about these alignments. So I will create one more tag here, one more file. I will write alignments.html. So first I will complete the HTML formalities. HTML head, in this head I will write the title. Title is alignments, and we have to copy these meta tag and bootstrap CDN link from the tables.html. Copy, paste it in the alignments. Now we need to create one row in the body. So I will create one div. The class name is row. Now I will create 4 columns from this row. First I will utilize only 4 columns. So I will write div class call md4. So for the first 4 columns I am writing the title as h1, first 4 columns. So you can add the background color for this div also. To add the background color we need to add style, background color property red, Control S. Let's check the output. Instead of forms.html we need to write alignments.html. Alignments.html. So this is the first 4 columns. Suppose I want to place these 4 columns at the center of the page, we need to add only one line to the row, which is called as justify content center. So it's very simple. We need to write justify content center, Control S. Sorry. Here you can see the 4 columns came to the center of the page. So if you create another 4 columns also, then that 8 columns will be placed at the center of the page. So for the first 4 columns, we have written one h1 text as first 4 columns. Now I will copy these text and I will paste it for the next 4 columns. So for the next 4 columns, that means 5th column to 8th column, I will write the background color as blue. And I will write second 4 columns. Here you can see almost 8 columns are arranged in the center of the page. This is because of justify content center. So whatever the child elements are present in the justify content center class, that child elements are arranged to the center, horizontally center. This is the use of justify content center class. Suppose if you want to align any HTML h1 element or h2 element to the center of the page, you have to write the class name as text center. Here you can see these first 4 columns text is not centered, it is from left side. Now I want to place these text at the center of this red color background. So it should move somewhat right side. Now I will add the class as text center for the h1. Class text center. Control S. Here you can see the text is moved right side and it is at the exactly center of the red color background. So like this way we can use the text center class and the justify content center class. So here you can see this is the Facebook official home page or landing page. So we are going to build exact this landing page with the help of Bootstrap grid system. That means with the help of rows and columns. So if you observe the project here, we have the white smoke background color, and in this area we have the Facebook logo and some text about the Facebook, which is a paragraph text. This is the left side, and the right side we have one form. In that form we have two input fields with the values, email address or phone number, and the password. And bottom of that input fields we have the login button. After entering these input fields, the user has to click on this login button, then only these details will be verified. So there is one more option. If a user forgets his credential, that is called as forgot account. If you click on this, you will be able to see the forgot password page. So here we need not to discuss about this, we are building only login page. So after the forgot password button we have one HR tag, that means underline. After the underline we have the create new account, means registering a new user. So this is up to the form. Below the form we have the create a page for a celebrity, band or business. This is for the promotional text. So this is what that we are going to build now with the help of Bootstrap grids, rows and columns. So if you observe the project clearly, here we have 4 columns for the right side, not right side, left side. For the text we have allocated 4 columns, and for the form we have allocated 4 columns. Not only 4 columns, but if you consider these total with these 12 columns, you can make these text part as 4 or 5 columns, and these form part as 4 or 5 columns. So remaining these 2-3 columns, here also remaining these 2-3 columns are empty. So that's why we need to utilize only 9 or 8 columns from the 12 columns, because this is the empty space. From the left side there is some empty space, and from the right side also there is some empty space. So you should not use all the 12 columns to build the content. If you use all the 12 columns, these Facebook text will start from here. So we should not do like that. So you should utilize only 4 or 5 columns for the text and 4 or 5 columns for the form area. So while building you will understand better. First I will create a new folder on the desktop with the name Facebook. New Facebook. So this is the project folder. Now we have to access this folder in the VS Code. Open VS Code. Here we go, the VS Code is open. Now click on the file. Click on the open folder. Now select the Facebook folder on the desktop. Where it is. Here you can see this is the Facebook folder. Click on this and click on the select folder button. You can see here the Facebook folder is opened on the VS Code. Now we have to create the index.html file and index.css file. First and foremost we have to complete the basic setup in the index.html. HTML, head, title is Facebook. Control S. So now we have to write the body part. So before entering to the body part, we have to use the Bootstrap in our application. And if you want to use Bootstrap grid system, you should add one more tag which is called as meta tag. So if you want to find that both the links, you can visit Bootstrap official website. This is the Bootstrap official website. Click on the get started. So copy the first link which is used for CSS, that means Bootstrap CSS, paste it here. Click on the view, toggle word wrap. So if you want to use the Bootstrap grid system and make your website responsive, you have to add one more line which is called as meta tag. So here you can find the meta tag. In the starter template we need to copy this. Meta, name is equal to view4, content is equal to width, device width, you have to copy this line and paste it above the bootstrap. So before using the bootstrap only, you have to paste the meta tag. Control S. So the bootstrap linking process is completed. Now we have to create the content in the body. So first we will see the actual project. So this is the actual project. So now I want to utilize 4 columns for the text purpose and 4 columns for the form purpose. So out of the 12 columns, I want to use only 8 columns, 4 for text and 4 for form. I want to place that 8 columns at the center of the page using the justify content center. So first we need to create a row. So first we need to create a row in the body, div class equal to row. And in that div, we have to divide the row into 2 parts. So the first part contains 4 columns, second part contains 4 columns. Class call MD4. So if you only write call 4, that will work on only desktop device. If you write call MD4, it will work on both desktop device and the mobile device. That's why we need to write call MD4. MD means medium devices. Div class call MD4. So these first 4 columns are for the text purpose and the next 4 columns are for the form tag purpose. So in the first 4 columns, first we have to create the h1 tag for the Facebook title. You can see here Facebook title. So we need to create the h1 in the Facebook. h1, we need to write the title. Facebook. So let's check the output. So in this tab, I will open our project, local disk C, desktop, Facebook folder, and file name is index.html. That's it. We got the Facebook h1 text at the page. If you want to bring these at the center of the page, not center, in the first 4 columns, because we are going to use only 8 columns from the 12 columns. So we need to bring everything to the center of the page to make our website like this. So here also they have used only 8 columns from the 12 columns, but they have used the justify content center to bring 8 columns to the center of the page. So that's why we need to bring 8 columns to the center of the page. So after the row, we need to mention the class as justify content center. Control S. Here you can see the Facebook text is came to the center of the page. Now we need to add some margin top to our row because the row is started from here. This is all called as empty space. That means margin. You can add margin or you can add padding, anything. Both will work for same because there is no another element here. If you have any another element, we need to use only margin. If there is no another element, we can use both margin and padding. So I will use margin top 100 for the row. So the row will start from here. Here also the row will start from this space. So at the top we will have 100 pixels margin. So now I will enter into the index.css. So I will add margin to the dot row. That means row class. I will add margin top 100 px or I will add 150 px. Let's see how much it is taken. So first we need to link this index.css to the index.html. So after linking the bootstrap, I will link the index.css. In the href, I will write index.css. Control S. Let's check the output. Here you can see the Facebook text came down. Now we need to increase the size of this Facebook text. So if you observe the entire page here, we have only one h1 text. There is no another h1 text. So we need not to write any CSS selectors for this h1 text. Of course, if you want to write, you can write, but here there is no need of that. So simply I will write one h1 and I will increase the font size up to, initially the h1 text font size is 32 px. So let's increase up to 50 px. You can check whether the both the h1 texts are matching or not. Here you can see it's increased but not exact. Sorry. Desktop, Facebook. So the text size is increased but not like this. So we need to increase some more. So instead of 50, I will write 70. Control S. Yeah, it's looking good. So afterwards we will change the color. Why afterwards? Now only we will change the color. Here you can see we have blue color for the H1 text. So I will use the color as blue for the H1 text. Color. So which blue should we use? I will use normal blue only. Control S. Let's check the output. Here you can see we got the blue text color for the Facebook logo. So below the Facebook logo we have some text about the Facebook. So please copy this text and create a paragraph tag in our project, and we need to place this text in our paragraph tag. So bottom of the H1 text we need to write one paragraph. Paste it. That's it. Let's execute this. Here you can see we got the paragraph text but not as expected. If you zoom, you can able to see the paragraph text also in the 2 lines. Here you can see, suppose if you want to increase the paragraph text size, you can increase. That's up to you. So here I don't want to increase paragraph text. I want like these only. So the Facebook text part is completed. We have created the Facebook text part like this. If you want to change the font style also, you can change it, but it's not necessary here. We are focusing on Bootstrap grid system project only. So the text part is completed. That means we have completed the work part in the first 4 columns. Now we need to move to the second 4 columns. That means form part. So in the second 4 columns, first we need to create the form. So in that form, we need to add 2 input fields and 1 button. So I will add input, type is equal to text, class is equal to form control because we are using the Bootstrap forms, form control, and the placeholder is equal to email or phone number. Control S. Let's check the output. Here you can see a text is created in the second 4 columns. So now we need to create the second input field. You can copy this input field and paste it for the password also. So at the placeholder only we need to change the value. Instead of email or phone number, we need to write the password. Let's check it. Here you can see the second input field also created successfully. Afterwards we will add the margin to these input fields. First we will create all the input fields. So after the 2 input fields we have the button. So this is the Bootstrap primary button. If you want to clarify, you can open Bootstrap official website to get this button. So this is the Bootstrap primary button. So after the 2 input fields I will add the button. In the button the text is login. And I will add the class as btn primary. Control S. Here you can see the button is created successfully but not exactly. So if you observe the project here the button is full width, but when it comes to our project the button is inline because by default button is inline. It will take up to the content width only. To make this button full width, we need to add one more class which is from the Bootstrap called as btn block. So we can make the button to the block level. Btn block. Block level means it will take the full width of the parent. So for this button the parent is form. So it will take the width of the form. Now I will hit the refresh button. Here you can see the button size is increased to the form level. Now we need to add the margin top and margin left right to all the elements. So margin left right is optional. We need to add the margin top only because all the elements are stretched one after another. So now we need to move into the index.css, and first thing we need to add is input. For the input fields I will write margin top 10px. Control S. And for the button also we need to add the margin top. Button margin top 10px. Here you can see the button and the margins are created successfully. There is some gap between the one input field and another input field. So here you can see this is the input field. If you want to increase this, if you want to decrease the size of the input fields, you can give only 3 columns for the form tag. Then these size will be increased. So we have taken 4 columns for form tag and text tag. But if you observe the Facebook official website, they might have taken 4 columns for the text tag and 3 columns for the paragraph, not paragraph, form tag, because the text size width is bigger than form. So let's add the col m3 only. So col md3 only. Now we can clarify that. Col md3. Now it will look exactly like official website only. Yeah, now it's looking good. You can see exact same width for the both the official website and our developing website. So we have taken 4 columns for the text purpose and we have taken 3 columns for the form tag purpose. If you want to take 3, you can take 3. If you want to take 4, you can take 4. It is not there any condition that you should take both 4 and 4 only. You can take any number of columns out of the 12 columns. But when you add all the columns, it should not increase the 12. So a row has only 12 columns. That's why we need to divide the row into 12 columns only. So from the 12 columns, we have utilized only 4 columns. So I will use 4 columns because I will apply padding to the form tag. Here you can see there is some padding from the parent tag to the input fields. So I will use only 4, not 3, 4 only. So afterwards you will understand why I have taken 4. So now I will create the form tag. So in the index.css, I will apply the style to the form. So before applying style to the form, we have to apply the background color to the body. Here you can see this is not white color body, this is white smoke. The Facebook official website background color is white smoke. So in our website also, I will use the body, and for that body I will add the background color as white smoke. Body, background color, white smoke. Control S. Let's check this. Here you can see white smoke background color is created in our website also. Now I will add the background color for the form. If you observe the official website, there is white background color for the form. So in our website also, I will add the white background color for the form. So background color white. Control S. Here you can see the white background color is added to the form, but it is not visible because all the elements are stretched into the form. So we have to add some padding to the form. Then only we can able to observe the space from form tag to the input fields. So I will apply the padding 20, P20. That means after the 20 pixels gap from top, bottom, left, right only, the elements will start in the form tag. Now I will hit the refresh button. Here you can see, now you can able to observe the gap between the form tag and input fields. All this white color background color is form, and this is 20 pixels gap from left side, right side, in top and bottom. If you apply only padding, that will be applied to all the size. If you mention the size also, that will be applied to mention the respected mention side. So if you apply padding left, that will be applied only left. If you apply padding right, that will be applied to only right side. So if you do not mention any side, that will be applied to the all the sides. That's why the space is from all the sides in the form. Now we need to add the border radius for the form. Here you can see there is some border radius to the form. In our website also, I will add the border radius for the form. So B radius, I will add 10 px. Control S. Here you can see the border radius is applied successfully. Now we are left with some more input fields and form tag elements. After the login button, we have one anchor tag which takes us to the another page, forgot account page. So we need to add one anchor tag after the login button. So this is the login button. Here I will add the anchor tag with the text. What is the text? Forgotten account. So here I will write forgotten account question mark. Control S. Sorry, this anchor tag came down. Control S. Now let's check this. Here you can see we got the forgotten account, but it is at the left side. To make these at the center of the page, we need to add the class as text center, or we can add a text align center in the CSS. That's lengthy process. So we can add the class as text center to make any element to the center of the page. Text center, Control S. Sorry, it's not working. So I forgot that this anchor tag element is the inline elements. We cannot make the inline elements to the center of the page. We can make only block elements. So here we need to add one more line to the class, which is called as btn block. Sorry, not btn block. We have to add the display block for the anchor tag, because by default anchor tags are display inline elements. So for the display inline elements, we cannot add any bootstrap classes like text center, justify content center, etc. So that's why we need to add the class as, not here, we need to add the text center only, but before adding this text center, we need to convert this anchor tag to the display block. So in the CSS, I will write anchor tag as display block. Sorry, display block, Control S. Now let's check the output. Here you can see the text is converted to the center of the page. Here I refresh, you can see. So here I want to add some margin to the anchor tag. I want to add some margin top because it is exactly touched to the button. So I want to add some margin top. Margin top 5px or 10px. I will add 10px. Refresh. Here you can see now there is some gap between the login button and the forgotten account anchor tag. So after the forgotten account anchor tag, we have one HR line. So here also I will add one HR line. HR. Let's check this. Here you can see we got one HR line. After the HR line, we have one more button, create a new account. So this is the Bootstrap success button because it is having the green background color. So we need to add one button which is called as button with the class. So before adding the class, we need to add the text, create new account. Create new account, class btn success, Control S. Let's check this. Here you can see this button is created successfully. If you want to bring this button at the center of the page, we need to add some styling to this button. So I will add the style as, first I will convert these btn success to the block level element because buttons are also inline elements by default. So I will write dot btn success, and here I will write display is equal to, display block, Control S, and here we need to write the class is equal to text center. So it will come to the center of the page. Text center, Control S. Let's check this. Here you can see there is no change in the output. Let's check the mistake. So in the index.css, I forgot to add the important keyword because here we are overriding the display property of the button which is from Bootstrap. So we are overriding the btn success class. It is the Bootstrap class. So we need to add the important button. Control S. Now let's check. So again it's not working. So there is something mistake in this text center class for buttons. Let's try to add the margin left and right to the buttons so we can get that. So I will add margin left is equal to 50px. So after hitting the refresh button, this button will move 50 pixels right side. That means because we have added margin from here. So I will hit the refresh button. Here you can see it's moved right side. So if you want to bring to the center of the page, we need to increase the left margin. So instead of 50, I will add the 80. Control S. So I will add 100. Control S. Yeah, now it's looking good. So we have created the create account button. Now we are left with only one thing, which is called as these paragraph text. Create a page for a celebrity, band or business. Here these create a page is called as bold text. We need to create the paragraph, and in that paragraph we have to create a page in the bold text. So after the form, so by this button the form is completed. So after the form we have to add one paragraph text. We have to copy this text and we have to paste that in the paragraph. Copy, paste, Control S. Let's execute. Here you can see below the form tag we have the create a page for a celebrity, band or business. So this is the official login page of the Facebook that we have created now. So you can see there is only little bit changes in our website, because they have used different fonts in their website, and we have used our fonts in our website. If you zoom, you can able to see very clearly. This is the Facebook logo and this is the Facebook text, and here we have the form. In that form we have two input fields, email, password and the login button, and here this is the anchor tag which is used for forgot password and the create new account. So in this entire project we have struck only at this button place only, because if this class text center class is not working for button, that's why we have used the margin left. So after this button we have one only paragraph text below the form. So this is the Facebook landing page. If you want to add the footer also, you can add. So in the Facebook official page, here you can see there is some footer at the top, not top, bottom. If you want to add also, you can add. So here we are focusing only on landing page design, that's why we need not to add the footer. Let's start with the JavaScript definition. JavaScript is the programming language used for web development, and it is also a object-oriented programming language like C++, Java, Python, etc. This is the basic definition of the JavaScript. JavaScript is the object-oriented programming language used for web development. Now let's see the one more definition. JavaScript can update and change the HTML and CSS. Here HTML is the markup language and CSS is the cascading styling sheet. So with the help of JavaScript, you can able to update and change HTML and CSS properties. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and will develop all the basic building blocks of an element using this HTML. Now let's see the one more. JavaScript can calculate, manipulate and validate data. Here data is nothing but HTML data. That means we can able to calculate, manipulate, validate with data which are present in the HTML part. If you understand these three definitions, you can make one more definition for the JavaScript. That is, JavaScript is used to add interaction to the websites. This is the final definition for the JavaScript. JavaScript is the object-oriented programming language used to add the interaction to the web applications. So you may have one doubt, what is interaction? Now I will show you what is interaction with a live example. You can see here, this is the Google Chrome web browser and I have opened Google homepage. If you observe here, this element is called as input field or input in HTML. So initially it is empty. Suppose if I start writing anything in this input field, it will show the related results about our text. Here I will start writing about the JavaScript. You can see here we got all the results which are related to the JavaScript. This is called as interaction. The web browser is responding to our action. So if you perform any action on the web browser, it will show some changes in the web browser. So here I will select the JavaScript. After selecting the JavaScript, the web browser took us to the JavaScript related results page. You can see here we got all the results about the JavaScript like W3 schools, Java T point, tutorials point, etc. Here we have moved from Google homepage to the Google results page after clicking the search button. This is happening in the web browser because of JavaScript, and this process is called as interaction. Suppose if you click on any one of the link in this results page, it will take us to the related website. Here I will be clicking this W3 Schools website link. You can see here we have navigated from Google results page to the W3 Schools official website. This is because of JavaScript. We are moving from one page to another page in a web browser with the help of JavaScript. And this is called as interaction. If you are thinking it's getting complicated, don't worry, we'll be having one more lecture about only interactive websites. In the next lecture only, we will be discussing about what are interactive websites and what are non-interactive websites. Once again, I will tell the JavaScript definition. JavaScript is the object-oriented programming language used for adding interaction to the web applications. Now we will discuss the popular and powerful question in the web development. Why JavaScript? Why not other? Why all the developers choose JavaScript as their primary programming language in the website? So we will discuss this question with a real-time example. Consider you are building an e-commerce web application. So not only e-commerce, for every full stack web application, we will be having three things: front-end, back-end and database. Here also we will be having three things. To display the products in web application, we will be having the front-end. After creating the front-end, we will create the back-end for processing our requests. After creating the back-end, we will add the database to store all our data. This is the basic part of the any full stack web application. By completing all these things, we will get the full stack web application called as e-commerce website. Here we have three things: front-end, back-end and database. If we do these three things only, we will get the full stack application. Now I will tell you why JavaScript is having many advantages compared to another programming language in web development like PHP and Python. So let's consider these things practically, how to develop these things. So now we will discuss the technologies used for developing these front-end, back-end and database. First we will develop the front-end using the React.js framework. React.js is the JavaScript library. We'll write all the code in React.js framework in the JavaScript programming language only. So our front-end part is completed. Now we will be moving into the back-end part. We will be developing this backend with the Node.js. Node.js is the runtime environment. In this Node.js also, we will be writing all the code with the help of JavaScript programming language. After completing the front-end and back-end, we will add database to our application. And we will be using MongoDB as our database. MongoDB is the NoSQL database. And you can perform all the MongoDB operations on the server side with the help of Node.js. Means that is also JavaScript. So we are building this entire full stack e-commerce application with the help of only one programming language, that is called as JavaScript. So if you learn only one programming language perfectly, you can able to develop full stack web applications. So this is the main advantage of the JavaScript compared to other programming languages. You need not to learn any separate programming language like PHP for backend and Django for server side, etc. You have to learn only JavaScript, and with the help of JavaScript only, you can do anything you want in the web development. That's why JavaScript developers are the highest paid developers in the web development, and JavaScript is the highly used programming language in the web development. Now we will discuss the advantages of JavaScript. So JavaScript is mainly used in the web development. As we discussed in the previous slide only, JavaScript is used for full stack web applications. And JavaScript is not permitted up to web development. We can also develop the Android and iOS applications using the JavaScript with the help of React Native. So React Native is the cross-platform independent JavaScript framework used for developing the iOS and Android applications in only one programming language, that is called as JavaScript. And we can also develop the desktop applications with the help of JavaScript using the Electron.js. So this is up to the introduction of JavaScript. Interactive websites and non-interactive websites. So as we discussed in the previous lecture, JavaScript is used to develop interactive website. So to know about that statement more, we have to clarify what is interactive website and what is non-interactive website. So if you observe here, I have created two web pages. So here the first web page title is interactive and the second web page title is non-interactive. So by using these two web pages, we are going to see what is interactive and what is non-interactive. So first we will see what is interactive website. So interactive website is nothing but the website which allows users to communicate with it is called interactive website. So suppose here there is a button. So when I click this button, there should be something change in this page. So that is called interaction. So which is providing that change is called interactive website. So here I am clicking this button. So here you can see the background color is changed from white to green, and there is a text called this is interactive text is came after clicking this button. So this is called interaction between the user and web browser. So when it comes to non-interactive website, if you click on any button or if you perform any action, there will be no more response from the browser or web page. So this is called non-interactive website. So once again I will tell, the websites which allow user to communicate with the web browser is called as interactive website. The website which does not allow user to communicate with the web browser is called non-interactive website. So in simple words, non-interactive websites do nothing. So if you click on this button, there is no change in the button. So when it comes to the interactive website, so here I am refreshing the page. When I click this button, there should be something change in this button. So here you can see the website button color is same and the website background color is changed from white to green, and there is a text which is came after clicking this button. So before the clicking this button, there is no text and the background color is white. So after clicking the button only, the background color is changed to green and one text came with the value this is interactive. So this is the use of interactive website. We can perform action and the browser will also respond to our action. So in the next video, we are going to start our JavaScript basics, where to write JavaScript in HTML file. As we discussed in the previous introduction lectures, JavaScript can be embedded with HTML files. Means we can write the JavaScript in HTML. So now in this video, we are going to learn where can we write HTML, where can we write the JavaScript in HTML. So for this, open your favorite code editor. So I am opening Visual Studio Code. So here you can see the Visual Studio Code is open. So now create a new file in your any favorite folder, whatever it may be a local disk C or E or D, anything. So click on this file. So open folder. So select any one folder. So first I will open this PC. So afterwards I will open the local disk E. So here I have created a folder for our projects, JS projects. So in these projects only I will create the new file. So here you can see the new folder is opened in the Visual Studio Code with the name JS project. So in this JS projects only we are going to write our first program. So here I am creating a new HTML file with the name test.html. So we are testing where to write JavaScript in the HTML. So first we need to open the HTML tags. HTML. So after that we have to write the head, means head tag, and afterwards we have to write the body tags. So this is the structure of the HTML page. So every HTML page is containing head and body. So in the head we can give the title for the page. So like title. So here I am giving the title as test. So this is the HTML page. So here I will write simple one h1 tag in the body. This is for JavaScript test. So we have created one HTML file. So in that we have added the head tags and body tags. So in the body tags we have added one h1 text with the value this is for JavaScript test. So now once we will execute this page, so I will show you how to execute an HTML file. So open your favorite browser. I am opening Google Chrome. So here you can see the Google Chrome is open. So in the URL you have to enter the file path of the HTML. So you have to enter this file path. So this file is present in the local disk E in the JS projects folder. So now I will enter the first local disk E colon JS projects. So after JS projects we have to enter the file name. So here our file name is test.html. So here you can see the HTML content is created successfully. You can see the h1 text here. This is for JavaScript test. So as of now we have not written any single line of JavaScript. We just only created the HTML page. So in that HTML page we have added the head content and body content. So now we will discuss where to write the JavaScript in the HTML. So in the HTML we can write the JavaScript in head part, body part, and after the HTML tags. So in the three ways we can write this JavaScript code in HTML. So now we will discuss the three ways in this video only. So first I will write the JavaScript code in head part. So here I am pressing enter, so it will go to the next line. So first we will create the script tags. So JavaScript can be written in the script tags only. Without script tags, if you write any JavaScript statement, it will raise the error. So here first I will write one statement with console dot log. So console dot log is a JavaScript method which is used for test purpose. So whatever you write in the console dot log, it will be printed on the Google Chrome inspect. So I will show you how to select that Google Chrome inspect. So first write something text in this console dot log. So here I will write the text in the, this is JavaScript. So once again I am telling console.log is a test method in JavaScript. So whatever you write in this console.log method, it will be printed on the console. So now I will open the Google Chrome and I will show you where this console will be present in the Google Chrome. So here I am opening Google Chrome. So we have added one text in the Visual Studio Code. That's why I need to refresh the page. So here I will refresh the page. So here you can see there is no change in the HTML content because we have added the text in JavaScript. So to go to the console in Google Chrome, click on the right click of my right click. So after right click, go to this inspect. Click on this inspect element. So after clicking inspect, here you can see the console. So click on this. So here you can see the text what we are written in the console.log. So whatever the text you write in the console.log, that will be printed in this area. So this is for test purpose. So if you want to write something on this place, there is other methods, they are called JavaScript output function. So in the further videos we are going to discuss about that. As of now we are discussing about only where to write JavaScript in the HTML. So this is the first method, means in the head part of the HTML we are written the JavaScript. So to write the JavaScript statements, we have to open the first script tags. So here you can see open script tag and this is closed script tag. So in the script tags, we have to write the JavaScript statement. So this is the JavaScript statement. Console.log is a method which is used for testing purpose. It will be printed on the Google Chrome console. So whatever the text you write on these double colons or single colons, that will be printed on the console. So now we will completed the writing JavaScript in header part. So now we will move into the body part. So here I will write the text as this is JavaScript from head part, because we are written this in the head part. So now I will write the script in body. So here I am opening the script. You can see now we are writing in the body section. So here also the same, you can write in the script. So here also I will write the same thing, console dot log. So here I will write the text as this is JavaScript from body part. So I have pressed Ctrl S. Now we will move into the Google Chrome and refresh the page. So here you can see as of now there is only one text. So after refreshing the page, we can see two texts. So I am refreshing the page. So here you can see there are two texts in the console. This is JavaScript from head part and this is JavaScript from body part. So you can understand we can write the JavaScript in the head part because this text is coming from the JavaScript which is written in the head part of the HTML. So the second line is coming from the text which is written in the body part of the HTML. So now we will moving into the third thing, that is end of the HTML. So here I will write the text script. So wherever it may be, whenever you want to write the JavaScript statement, you need to open the script tags. So without script tag, if you write any text in the HTML, that will be printed on the screen. So now I will open the third thing, console dot log. So in this I will write the text as, this is JavaScript from end of the HTML. End of the HTML. So here you can see, after completing the HTML end tag only, we have written the script. So here in this file we have written these 3 script statements. So the first one is in the head part, and the second one is in the body part, and the third one is in the end of the HTML part. So now I will open Google Chrome and I will refresh the page. So here you can see the 3 outputs. This is JavaScript from head part. This is JavaScript from body part. This is JavaScript from end of the HTML. So like this way we can write the JavaScript in single HTML page. So whatever the content may be and whatever the statements may be, you can write the JavaScript in 3 ways. So the first way is in the head part, and the second way is in body part, and the third way in end of the HTML. So in the next video we are going to discuss about how to write the JavaScript in external files and how can we add them in HTML file.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Like, comment and share. See you next time.